around, even though you got. I give a take, my baby, but you look just how I feel. Out of my way, when I'm fucking neatly vision. Can't trust decision, but you near me, give myself all that you promise, by you are one.
Hey y'all, it's Marshayla Monique and welcome to the first of many coffee talks on my channel. So today we have a caramel macchiato as you see me make. Fun fact, caramel macchiatos don't really have caramel in them. They have caramel drizzle on them and vanilla at the bottom. So whenever you're going to Starbucks and you really think you're getting some caramel, you're not. It's vanilla at the bottom. But today for our first coffee talk, I really just wanted to talk quickly about self-work. Back in 2019, when I had finally left my toxic relationship, whatever you want to call it, I had realized that I really did not know myself, and I never really thought about self-work or anything like that. Every day was honestly just every day for me, and life was just life, and that's just what it was going to be. Whenever I was finally able to spend time on my own is when I realized that I have no idea who I am, what I'm doing, or what my purpose is. For me, back then, I always had people around me. I never really got the time to spend time alone and have intimate moments with myself. So whenever my relationship did end and I was solely by myself, in the beginning, it was definitely scary, but it was definitely needed. And those moments that I spent by myself were very personal. It was a beautiful journey, even though sometimes there were more lows than highs. I struggled with thinking that I needed to go back to the relationship because that's all that I knew. I didn't know myself, I just knew us as a pair. And I feel like that was one of our biggest downfalls, is we were so young when we got into the relationship that we didn't take time for us to actually grow individually to make something work as a whole. So with that being said, I took an entire year of doing self-work and self-care and asking myself those difficult questions and unlocking that treasure chest that most of us hide in the back of our minds, of our deepest, darkest secrets and things about us that we just don't want people to know. I dove into that, and it was very emotional, but at the same time, unraveling that was a beautiful process. And in that process, I was able to realize that I have such a higher purpose rather than just working all the time and just taking life kind of as a joke and just like every day is every day, like I said. So that's why I created this platform per se, because I want everyone to realize that like you are the most important person in your life. You will always be the most important person in your life. And no matter how much you love another person or love your family and anything of that matter, it's really all about you. And I just want everyone to always make decisions solely based on you, and don't ever make a decision based off of another person. Always put yourself first. And once you really peak with that, you're gonna flourish so much. As I am today, I'm flourishing so much. And also, let me talk a little bit about peaking as well. So I can consider myself, actually no, I can't consider myself fully healed because there's always more work to do, which is why I wanted to talk about a peak and a valley. So with my self-care journey, I felt like when I was able to finally show up as my full and true self is when I peaked. Another valley came where I'm like, well, do I ever want to let anybody else in? So I have to work through that process. So there's a peak and a valley of every situation and every area of growth. You're gonna peak so many times in life. It's honestly crazy. Once you feel like you finally reached that moment, there's always going to be more work to do. Something else is going to come that you need to get through, and you need to walk through, and you need to work through. But keep in mind, by this time, when all of these multiple peaks and valleys come, you're already prepared and you're already strong enough to get through that. You've already done the work. You know what to do to get through this, what you were going to do. And that's how my life runs now. Things come and knock me off my pivot all the time, but I'm strong enough and I have enough willpower that I know that I'm going to be able to get through it because I've been through this, that, and the third. Nothing scares me these days. Like when shit comes, I handle it and I move on. There's something else that's going to come after that. That's just how life goes. That's a cycle of life. So with that being said, I just encourage everyone to take time for yourself. Like, I know a lot of people are like afraid to be alone and always feel like they need somebody. And don't get me wrong, no matter how much a person says that they want to be alone and they hate people, everybody needs somebody. everybody needs somebody. Like, you need somebody to talk to vent to trust, and to just share yourself with. Not fully, but to share yourself with. Nobody wants to actually be alone, and that is the truth. No matter what anybody says, nobody actually wants to be alone. We always need at least one person, and it doesn't have to be a person you're in a relationship with, but just a person to listen to and to lean on. So I'm that person for a lot of people, and I love that. It's honestly super fulfilling for me, and it's not always reciprocated, and that is okay, because it makes me grow more as a person, and it makes me step more into what my actual purpose is, and that is to influence and to spread positivity and to let people know that, like, this toxic positivity that is on the internet, where it's kind of just like, you're gonna be okay and that type of stuff, it's just very unrealistic. I keep it real and I keep it raw, like I always tell y'all, and that is what it is, you know. Thank y'all for tuning in for the first episode of Coffee Talk. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, but before I get out of here, I do want to leave y'all with a quote, which I will be doing every single week. So the quote of this week will be, we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. As in, you're always going to change, and you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to grow. And this quote is from Max Dupree. Most of my quotes I always get off of Pinterest, so that's where they will come from every single week. But I just wanted to leave y'all with that. I hope y'all did enjoy this short episode. I love y'all so much, and I will see y'all next week.